making money is important for you and me. But for that, you need to be aware when to buy an asset and where to kill that greed inside you and take profits. When market was drowning in red, I saw that as an opportunity because price was slowing down near the support. So as soon as possible, I informed my followers that this is the scenario and I am personally buying in on some assets as they were reaching their support levels too at the same time, which I shared in Telegram alerts. And if you are not aware of charts and you're looking at this stuff and understanding, okay, that's a possibility, now that's an opportunity for you, right? Now the price is bouncing off from this level. Now this is a zoomed in view, right? So now that the price is bouncing, you need to understand what to look out for this. Once it's breaking out, this is the pattern, what you can eye, what's the resistance level, because this is important to understand that the altcoin market is generally moving higher. So when the money is entering into altcoin market and it's moving higher, this is a pattern which you can surely see. So altcoin market surely gives you that idea. And if you are among the guys who didn't digest it properly, you're not making that huge gains. But if you are among the guys who digested it properly, then you're going to hit your targets of the 10x, 20x, 50x, 100x, depending upon the assets in your end, which will be coming true in wave 2. As the money is moving kind of out of Bitcoin, it is positive for altcoin holders. They are going to see those wave of green in their portfolio when the next impulsive wave to the upside comes here, like this, a huge massive wave 2, and a correction here in BTC dominance. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. Now, this is just an illustration to show the Elliott wave principle. Now, you see macro 3 wave structure, impulse 1, impulse 2, impulse 3, and within each wave, you definitely get this pattern where you get microwaves. Now, if you understand whether that's the microwave top or the third wave on a microstructure, or it's a third wave on the macro structure, that's important. And look at the corrective structure here and then here. So you kind of get this point here. This bounce or the low is kind of acting as a support. And if it is acting as a support and the price is bouncing off, that's a symbol that you are going to continue higher, right? Now, when you go to charts and look at different assets and their different time frame and understand, okay, this is what's happening here in this asset, that becomes so important. Because look at XRP dominance. This is not the usual stuff which most of them talks, but this is also important to understand. At this low in 2014, XRP bounced 60x in dominance. Then here it bounced 30x. What does that mean? Because by that time there was a lot of different altcoins in the market, so the dominance is reducing. Fine, but this is right now moving just below a trend line resistance. So as we break out, we are going to see a massive inflow of money into this particular coin. Because if you see this, if I see this, a lot of guys who have the brains, they are watching this. This is the low where we are in for XRP dominance from a long time. It was only in 2014 where we were this low. Afterwards, from 2015 till this time, this was the base. Now that's great, because if we are moving up, that shows this is valid. BTC dominance is dropping and we would be among the gainers in that cycle, because this is the altcoin market, right? Including XRP, Ether, all those others. But this one is for just XRP dominance, and it gives you that perspective and layout. Say the green here is the 20-day moving average, right now moving towards the upside. RSI is trending high, MACD is trending high, and it's just entering into the positive territory. So we have a long way to go. Because if you come back, look here, we were just entering that green territory, the positive one. So that's something which you have to consider, because that's the market cycle, right? As you always see, we talk about this. This is the market cycle. Now, why is this so important? If you understand whether we are in accumulation for one asset, breaking out of accumulation, entering into that markup phase or the bull run phase, it's important, because this is the level where we have a lot of assets right now. You can literally see this pattern in bar chart, line chart, whichever you plot or whichever you want to plot. You can see this pattern where it's trending higher. It's moving within this. Now, there would be recent drops just going below this, coming back into the range. That's something also which gives you that idea, right? Now, if you are in that asset, you're ready to ride this wave 2, get this consolidation here, then wave 3 if you wish to. But if you're in an asset which is already here, that's risky. Now, instead of the bull, you're waiting for the bears. Because here, the ABC goes higher. That's cool, that's great. You just have to wait. Now here, it's going down. So the waiting time is now during the entire step from the distribution and the decline and the next accumulation before it goes higher. So keep that in mind. Now, if you have seen this, read this and understand what you are looking at, because each stage has its own characteristics. Now, when you are in this state, understand that the market is going to continue higher. Now, let's actually look at these charts and explain it. But before that, we'll also have to show you something. There is an opinion which just came out, and that really feels something like that. But I don't actually think the price would be that big. But instead, the usage and the increase in price would be way higher. That's what I personally see from that. And here, this is not that new news for many, because they have been looking at this one, right? Because they understood that the French central bank has been discussing about this. We knew about this. Fine. But now if you are looking at this, it kind of gives you that idea that, yeah, this is not the stuff which is happening. Now, this is coming from a university. Fine, they're researchers, they're doing their stuff, and it's coming from an associate professor. You know, they are good at what they are doing. They are the top class researchers, right? So when they are coming out with this, you need to understand what is going to happen, because it's not only them. It's those individuals who stood at the top of the financial world now entering this arena, right? So when they kind of talk you about this, you need to understand that's something serious, because this event is right now happening. The cross-border payments is being standardized across the globe to reduce the friction, and central banks are entering onto it. They don't want to miss out, as one or two nations are gaining on this track, because they don't really want to do that, because that's why you see these kind of stuff. Governments are now saying, okay, we are going to tax from next year. They know that this year, yeah, there would be some kind of gains in wave 2, but the compounding of that wave 2 will be happening in wave 3, which would be massive profits, and they're going to tax you for all your gains. Now, do understand how to move around, because this is a world where you have different countries with 0% capital gains and some which will be taxing you like 50%. So remember, back in the days when, you know, the lords and other kind of systems were there, and they used to take, okay, you produce 100% of goods, or say farming goods, and we take 25%, and that was considered as feudal kind of stuff, right? And right now there are governments which are taking 50%. That's not good. If you are on that side, you can consider all the different options which is available for you. Now, let's dive back in deep to the charts. As you got the macro perspective here, now understand this. We came, created an all-time high, we went into a bear market, we consolidated, we started a bull market, we moved high. Then you came, retested this all-time high, went above that, came back and retested that level. Great, fine, and then you started wave 2. Now here, You went high, created an all-time high, which is similar to this. You came back down in a bear market, consolidated, and started that bull market. Great. Now, you reached that area. You tested that. Fine. Then you broke above. Now we come back to retest that level. Now we come back to retest this level. So it looks really similar to what happened in the market during 2016 to 2017. Now the fluctuation and the pattern would be a little bit different, but the theme of the story is same. So if it's going to consolidate and continue higher in wave 2 like this, I'm happy to hold and accumulate more because I know that this is going to happen. Now, if you consider wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 based on Elliott wave structures, now we understand one thing: wave 1, then wave 2. So this particular impulse to the upside is 2 to 3 times this one, a minimum. But most of the cryptos does way higher than that. So that's the gain what you are looking at. There are assets which have done 10x, 20x, right? So these has to be understood. Now, look at this. As we discussed last time, we anticipated this to happen, and that's happening in the market. Fine. What's your next step? Because you are looking at the market and saying, okay, when BTC dominance is dropping, I foresee that the altcoin will move high, and at the same time, XRP dominance is reaching a breakout point where money is going to enter into XRP, because people will talk you through altcoin dominance, they will talk you through the Bitcoin dominance. But if you're an investor in XRP, this is also important for you to consider. Now, as we bounce, next level of resistance is still the same. I told you about this when we were coming here last time. We were not able to break above and hold there. Instead, we did a little bit of fake out and came back to the support. And now it's bouncing. So if you're saying the trend lines don't work, now that's a different opinion. But anyway, I think it's working here. Now, the same trend line, if you plot on a macro structure, this is what you were moving on. We came back till that. Fine. Then you went up. Now, you are creating this as a new trend line. So next bounce should be somewhere around or above the all-time highs, and then a consolidation. Now, if we break even above that one, that's actually a different story there. Now, if you consider this, say the daily chart showing you this indication of turning upside, crossing to the upside in MACD, crossing to the upside in RSI and coming back to retest, and that being bounced on the support here in the price, means the next candle on the next day, if it's green and moving towards this resistance of 1.06, RSI is bouncing after the retest of this breakout. Now that's bullish. I don't know what else is bullish for you if you are not watching that as bullish stuff. Because on a weekly, as you step back, you see the same stuff bouncing from long-term trend line support. MACD is showing you negative stuff. Why? Because we need a consolidation. In the last market cycle, you did that consolidation. If the entire market is going to consolidate like this, XRP is within that market. So now the question is, will you consolidate here and break higher, or will you break higher and consolidate? So that has to be seen, because that's how the market reacts. But the key factor here is that on a weekly, the 20-day moving average is still valid. The price came back to the 20-day moving average. As you can see, last time we went up, this SEC volatility, if you are avoiding that, from this cross to the upside, above the 20-day moving average, you came back, retested it, stayed close to it, and then bounced. Now here, you went above that, came back to retest it, stayed close to the 20-day moving average, and then bounced higher. So now that you are back to that 20-day moving average and staying close to it, it's a possibility that you're going to bounce. Because if you go back into XRP chart, say on a weekly time frame, just to give you that idea, and go look at the MACD, just zooming in to understand, okay, when the price was coming down and staying with, now zoom in and see what's happening here. The MACD came to the downside, showing you a possibility that it's going to cross to the downside. But at the same time, price was holding above the 20-day moving average and RSI was trending higher. So history gives you that idea in one particular asset. Now, if it's recent history, that's the trend which it will follow most likely in next say 3 months, 6 months, last 3 months, 6 months, if it has followed something, possibilities are trend is changing like that, and that's going to be the pattern wise structure from here. So as you directly see in this chart, this is a real-time chart, right? On a monthly, this is the scenario which is really important to understand. Now, a monthly candle closed in May with a 58% weekday from the bottom till the close. That's great stuff. And if you just look at the monthly candle fluctuation from that bottom till the top, that's 169%. I remember the days when we were complaining that it's not moving higher than this. We were in this range for some time. Then there was a time when we were again in a tighter zone like this, just a month. So if you are going out of the market or becoming bearish in a market like this candle, you really don't remember history, or you are not learning from it. If you really do look forward to learn from it, this is an indication for you. The market retested this moving average and it went back up. So if history is something of a note for you, now you understand what's happening. The MACD is moving higher, the volume is trending higher, it's consolidating a bit. So what are you looking at? The next pump. You can see this right here. We went up, we consolidated, and then we went up again. So the market usually gives you this idea. Now, just for the clarity of purpose, and if you look at this stuff, you had this long range of accumulation, then this reaccumulation, and now you're moving higher. So if you just plot this, think, do you see any kind of similarities between this market cycle stuff which you see here, moving out of the accumulation, or the last phase of accumulation, entering into the markup phase? If you see some kind of stability there, pause this video here, look at this structure first, then go back to that market cycle one and see what happened there. Now, if you really want to plot, you can use a polyline and show what really happened there. The market went down, then it went up, it came back down. Fine, this was the accumulation range, the bottom there and all. Now you combine that here. The accumulation range, the bottom there, it went up, it came back down and slowly moving up. And thus this correction, I agree. That correction here was the top of this one. Now come back here, look at that. This correction, great, clear all of this so it's visible for you. Put that top here. Now that's something reliable. Now if you really see these factors in the market, you should take your decision whether you are there to make this profit, to move in wave 2, or you're out of it. Because once you learn different stuff and you master it, that's when you identify what's happening in the market. So if you watch this video, that's going to be really helpful for you in YouTube. You can just go in and click, pause this video, take this and type it, or just go into the YouTube and kind of watch this stuff. This video kind of gives you that idea to learn more. That guy kind of explains it in a way that you will understand. But the key factors there, it's not only the explanation. If you want to listen to that, it's fine. If it's me, now time is money. So time is really important. What I look at is the corrective types. When a correction happens, what are you looking at? When an impulse happens, this is like this, fine. Within that diagonal, how is it moving? So these are all the patterns you need to consider that this will happen in the market. And the takeaways from these are important. Now we go back to your asset, your chart. If you're trading a lot of different assets in this group, you can look at the Patreon. We do that in the Patreon. Do the charts for a lot of different assets for you so that you understand it's really important. Now, when we publish a chart, it's not about just one item. It gives you that idea for a lot of various different assets in this market so that if you have them in your portfolio, now you're well educated about what its technical is showing you. So on a regular basis, when you get these kind of notes for a lot of different assets in your portfolio, that's going to help you. And if you really need that, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. So now guys, when you see this, educate yourself on a regular basis. Stay motivated. Learn this every day. So now you are staying on top of this and making money. I believe you received value, and if you really did, please do hit that like and subscribe button because that supports the channel a lot. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.